This presentation is entitled Home from Home, Promoting Belonging and Engagement amongst undergraduate students living at home and commuting to university. So in this talk, I'll provide a short summary of our most recent findings. However, please get in touch using my email address if you wish to discuss the project further. So a sense of belonging is defined as a combination of feeling accepted, valued, connected to, and included by both peers and staff. And an increasing number of studies indicate that students that feel a strong sense of belonging to their university are more likely to be engaged in their learning, are less likely to withdraw from their studies, and ultimately achieve better degree outcomes. In contrast, a reduced sense of belonging often correlates with poorer engagement that consequently leads to poorer degree outcomes and poorer levels of retention. So home-based commuting students, referred to as home students in this presentation, represent a sizable student demographic that often face unique challenges with regards to integration into university life. And we define this group as students who live in their own rental or own home and commute to their local university. And this cohort includes a wide range of students, including mature students and students with caring or parenting responsibilities. However, the common barrier of commuting to and from university results in these students facing unique challenges to their sense of belonging compared to in-hall students, referred to as non-home students from now on. So this project therefore aimed to increase opportunities for life science home students to make personal connections with other home students, but non-home students and also staff, thereby creating the sense that the school that the student belongs to is their home from home. So to achieve this, we aim to survey home and non-home life science students regarding sense of belonging, create focus groups to gain insight into life science home student experiences, engage with student societies to develop inclusive student-led events, and also ultimately survey students to gauge the effectiveness of the events on belonging. So to gauge student reflections on their sense of belonging, we surveyed life science students across all years. In total, we had 416 participants. This number largely consisted of first-year students, around 80%, with 20% from years 2 to 4. The survey also had a fairly even split of home and non-home students, with 55% of participants identifying as home students and 45% of participants identifying as non-home students. So if we firstly compare the commuting experience of home and non-home students, there are clearly greater challenges faced by home students. So for example, home students typically have a longer commute time, ranging from 40 minutes to 2.5 hours, compared to 5 to 25 minutes for non-home students. Home students also use a broader range of transport modes, including bus, train, subway, and car. In contrast, non-home students typically walk. And these differences in commute characteristics are ultimately reflected in the key barriers identified by each cohort. So for home students, this relates to the reliability and cost of transport, challenges with travel during rush hours, and the overall length of travel. For non-home students, reported barriers are restricted to weather and also dark working routes. For evening travel, it was also evident that home students face significantly greater barriers compared to non-home students, associated with travel accessibility and also safety. So in terms of joining clubs and societies, the survey demonstrated a stark contrast between home and non-home students. So whereas the majority of non-home students said that they joined a club or society, in this case around 77%, only around 45% of home students said that they had joined a club or society. So a word cloud generated to illustrate the key terms used by home students to explain why they hadn't joined a club reinforces the unique barriers related to commuting, with travel, transport, and late events dominant within the word cloud. Further examination of the barriers shows that the prevalence of late events can exclude home students. And many of the barriers correlate with the commuting barriers outlined previously, such as safety concerns and costs and reliability of nighttime travel. Students also indicated that the necessity of carrying heavy bags or spare clothes also forms a significant barrier to them. In contrast, non-home students generally reported fewer barriers. However, interestingly, social anxiety and a lack of confidence represented a common barrier that prevented both home and non-home based students from joining clubs. So in addition to the survey, we also engaged in a focus group analysis of home student experience. And the focus group analysis was organised and chaired by 2 student interns, both of which had lived experience of being home students within life sciences. Focus group comprised of 10 home life science students across years 2 and 3. And the results from the focus group reinforced many of the survey outcomes. In particular, the commuting barriers mirrored the insights provided in the survey. Additionally, the focus group highlighted the lack of awareness of commuting support and suggested that further university support could be provided in this area. And one suggestion being a bespoke Moodle area for commuting students. The focus group also suggested that compact timetables with fewer gaps would benefit commuting students, and appropriate locker provision would also be a great help to commuting students. In addition, a greater number of daytime events held within the university would also improve home student experience. So a key aim of this project was therefore to engage with student life science societies to encourage a greater number of inclusive degree-specific events. So to achieve this, we reached out to life science societies and offered to support the organisation of daytime events. However, this proved to be extremely challenging, with very few societies actually taking up our offer. And therefore, so based on our experiences, long-term support of societies to run inclusive events would need to address the significant challenges of society engagement and communication. However, a key event that we are supporting is the Student Pharmacology Symposium on March 24th, hosted by the University of Glasgow Pharmacology Student Society. And through our support, the Society has been able to run this type of event for the very first time. And this therefore provides an example of how a life science student society can work in collaboration with life science staff to deliver an inclusive event open to all students. So in summary, home students report a larger negative experience in relation to social integration, as measured by their ability to join social activities and clubs. And this is typically associated with the unique commuting and travel challenges faced by home students. Further support is therefore required to reduce large gaps in university timetabling, provide bespoke commuting student resources, and also reduce barriers to the provision of daytime events, particularly events in collaboration with life science student societies. So finally, just to acknowledge the main project collaborators. That includes Kirsten, Knox, Chris Finlay, Mary McVey, and also Tracy Maxwell. I also want to thank the student interns who ran the focus groups, Amina Mahmood and Eden McNeely. I'd also want to thank the University of Glasgow Pharmacological Society, in particular the student reps Archie Wallace and Leah Howie. And also like to thank the funding body, which is the University of Glasgow Learning and Teaching Development Fund. And finally, just a few references to provide more background on the topic discussed today. So thank you.